Good morning. It's Saturday morning, June 21st, I think we're on, 2025. Don Palayo checking in with you guys. Um, I'm feeling a little down the last couple days. I think it's a few things that are at play here. One, um, I'm tired of working so hard. Yeah, and the fact it's not the fact that I'm tired of working so hard. It's working so hard and not getting anywhere. Or it's like I work and 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 I work, and my bank account is practically, not much there. I mean, I've got some in retirement savings, that sort of thing, but I have a pretty simple goal for an emergency fund, but it's just like every time I start making progress on it, there's something. The other day, my doctor wanted me to go and get a ultrasound to take a look at my liver. Um, and she said it wasn't going to be, it shouldn't cost very much, yada yada yada. They always say that, which probably to a doctor it probably isn't that much. But then I go to the to go to the facility to go get it done, and they want $800. And I'm like, I don't just have $800 just to throw on for some scan. It's like, so I just told them, forget about it. I'm not going to get it done. I'm just getting to the point where it's like, unless I have something really wrong with me, forget about it. It's it's like, for me, $800 is a lot of money. I mean, I mean, in terms of cash on hand, it's a lot of money. So I just said, forget about it. I'll just make sure, my blood work looks good, fairly good. There's one number in my blood work, which has been a little questionable, although since my surgery, that number's been improving since I had bariatric surgery last October. They did some testing before I had bariatric surgery, and there was one number that was very, very elevated. It's called ferritin, ferritin level, and it's some sort of protein that works in the storage of iron. I don't understand the whole bit, but anyway, that ferritin level normally has a high end of the normal range is about 400. Well, my number was over 1,500, and so more than three, almost four times higher than the high end of normal, and it kind of raised some red flags. And we did some other testing and blood work, and we've been watching I've been watching the blood work, since my surgery, and it came down to like 1,200 after the surgery. I had some blood work done in April, the 6 month checkup, and then we rechecked that number, and it came down to 1,200. Well, the high ferritin can be caused by a number of things. One of the things it can be is with your liver. They wanted to check my liver to see if there had been any like cirrhosis or anything like that. I don't think, I did have some fatty liver before the surgery. I don't, they looked at it back in 2019. I was told that I did have some fatty liver, but it wasn't that major. Basically just wanted to do the ultrasound to take a look at it again, see what they saw because of that elevated ferritin level. But the ferritin's starting to come down since my surgery. I'm going to give it another 6 months. I have a annual checkup in November, and I'm gonna have it rechecked at that time and see if that numbers continue to improve. It's like I'm not going to spend $800 on some medical scan, if I don't, unless I really feel like it's absolutely necessary. So anyway, I said to hell with that. I'm not doing that. And I just keep working and working and working, and I just can't put any money aside. And I'm not just working my primary job. I'm doing a secondary job, and part of it has been I've been paying down debt. It's like, so I've been throwing. How much do I throw at my debt every month? If you added up all my debt payments, including my mortgage, the car payment, my credit cards, uh, I mean, even just the credit cards alone are about 1,200 a month. Now, that's not minimum payments. That's me throwing a lot of extra money at the debt. So that's not minimum payments. That's just extra money I'm throwing on it. Um, so now I'm getting ready to pay one of those, basically the last credit card, well, kind of the last credit card off. Uh, that will be, it's not really the last one, but it's one of the bigger ones that I had to deal with. Once that's paid off, I'm gonna back off how much I'm throwing at debt. I'm gonna start building cash. Um, Once that's done, my monthly credit card expenses will go down to about $250 a month. Between two cards that I have two lines of credit that I have a credit card and I have a line of credit at one of my credit union accounts, and I just need to get those paid off. And I'm gonna probably reduce that down, how much I'm throwing at that, at least until I get my emergency savings where I want it to be, and then I'll go back to hammering that. I have get those paid off, and then I set some goals yesterday. Yesterday I was working on my plan for retirement, and I want to try to retire 10 years from now, or as close to 10 years. I would be 58 going on 59. That might be a little optimistic, but even if I try, and I've got it broken down by weekly targets all the way up and for 10 years. So I was working on this quite a bit yesterday, using financial formulas and things, and how much I need to put in, what rate of return I need to be hitting, and so that I can retire in June of 2035. And it's aggressive, and I'll admit that it is an aggressive investment plan, and I may not be able to hit it. But let's say I miss it, but I can retire at 61 or 62. I'll feel like I'm still doing pretty well. I have decided that once I retire, I'm my intention is to move abroad for a little while. I'm probably going to move to Spain for not forever, but for a few years. I'm probably just going to go over there and rent something for maybe 3 or 4 years, and maybe into my mid 60s, something like that. And then I may sell this house in the meantime. I may let one of my daughters, stay here, look after it. I may try to rent it out. I don't know. I haven't decided that part yet. But that's something I'm kind of thinking a lot about right now. Um, Back to my sadness, feeling down. It's not even really so much sadness. It's kind of just a depression. I feel like feelings of depression a little bit. I think I'm battling. I think a lot of it has to do with how hard I'm working and how slow my progress is toward my goals, and I think that's a little frustrating to me. Um, Relationship stuff. I'll be honest with you. It bothers me. I have my days with that. It's kind of funny. Most of the time, I feel fine. I kind of like being on my own. I do, in a way. It's kind of weird. I'm a bit introverted a little bit. I've always, well, I haven't always been, but I've been an introvert since like at least like middle school. Um, there were a few times in my life where I tried, I wanted to bring someone into my life. I think the thing that frustrates me the most about relationships, and I've never really quite understood this, and I think I'm starting to begin to understand it a little bit. I always expected that I would find someone that really wanted to be with me, and me specifically. That but it just seems like girls don't think that way. Um, I don't know if girls really fall in love the same way we do. Um, I There have been a couple of times in my life where I've had very strong feelings for a girl, where to the point where I really wanted to get married and everything, and where I wanted to be with that person. And the first one, I never really quite got over her, and I think that's part of the problem too. I think it's been part of the problem ever since all this happened. Um, and when I lost her, I kind of panicked a little bit. I should have. I probably what I probably should have done at the time. I should have probably backed away from dating for a while. Um, Focused on myself for a while, getting myself where I needed to be in life. But instead, I was desperate and went looking for anyone that would pay me any attention at all, you know. And I wound up marrying a girl that I dated for about 6 months. I didn't really know her that well. And this girl, she was a nice person, but there were some problems right off the bat in that marriage. But and I've talked about this before, I know, and it's like, but when I look back on it, I spent years, literally years, the first few years of that marriage, trying to build a bond between us because I didn't feel like there was a real connection, a real bond with us, even though I'd married her. you know, I'd married this girl that I didn't really feel like that bond existed yet. And I would never get married again without having that first, because I didn't feel like that bond was there. And I spent 3 or 4 years of that marriage, the beginning of the marriage, trying to do things to try to get things going, to try to develop that bond with this person I was married to. And I'm going to be real honest with you guys. I That marriage, I felt like nothing more than a roommate. I felt like a roommate practically the whole marriage. It never felt like we were husband and wife. I always kind of just felt like a roommate. I always felt like I had to walk on eggshells watching every little thing that I did. I couldn't be myself, really. And that was a problem in both of my marriages, by the way. That was always an issue with both of my marriages. Um, and it really just felt like this woman that I was married to, she would have been just as happy us being married, sharing a home, splitting the bills, and just working our, and not even having a closeness or a bond. I'm not even talking about sex here. I'm just talking about just a closeness, a bond. It's like it didn't even matter. It's like that didn't even matter to her. Um and I got so depressed during that marriage. I was feeling so down because I knew that I was married to someone deep down inside really didn't care that much about me one way or the other, really. And and then people wonder why I might have gotten divorced. It's like I don't want to spend the rest of my life with someone that really doesn't care, you know? And then I got married a second time about 5 years later, made a big mistake there. It was like I think I'd known her less time than I knew my first wife. And again, there was no bond there when we got married, really. And she she just acted like she hated my guts for 3 years. It's like she didn't. It was like we weren't. She wasn't even willing to try to make it work. I think she just wanted to. She wanted to get her hooks in me, get rid of me, and then start getting money, siphon money from me. I think that's really kind of the way it was with my second wife. Honest to goodness. Um, I hate saying it like that, but that's what I think. And so here I am. I'm almost 49 years old, and I have my days where I struggle with this, where I'm like, I feel very alone. And but then I think about it, and it's like I've known all these girls in my life, but I've never felt like any of them that I was ever important to any of them. I don't feel like I ever really mattered to any of them. Any of them, marriages, dating, any of it. I don't feel. I'm 49 years old, and I've never in my life felt like I had a girl that really genuinely loved me. I've never experienced that in my entire life, and that is what I find sad. That's the part that bothers me. Um, Now this only bothers me. This only pops up 2 or 3 times a month, maybe. You know, where I'll struggle for a couple of days. I would say 80% of the time I'm fine. I'm working, I'm doing my thing, I'm focused on my goals, I'm focused on my kids. I'm not really thinking about it that much. And then there's the other 20% of the time where I'm a little down. Um, anyway, it just is what it is, and it's been bothering me the last couple days. I'm getting older and I can feel it. I'm feeling my body getting older. It's kind of a weird sensation. I don't know if I'm aging faster right now because of the surgery or if it's just my age or what it is, but I'm feeling it. I'm really, really feeling it. I feel a lot more tired. I've been feeling very tired lately. Um, it could be depression. I don't know. I've been feeling extremely tired. Um, it's been hard for me to get up and do anything. It's like going to work has been kind of difficult here lately because I feel so tired. I wake up in the morning and I'm struggling for an hour just to get out of the bed. Like it's kind of ridiculous. And I've got all these goals and I'm starting to realize I don't have the energy to attack these goals. I don't have it. I don't not all of them. I can put my focus on one or maybe two of them, but that's basically it. And it's like I'm just feeling tired. Um, Something's got to change, and I'm working through some ideas on how to change things. Um, I want to do more for my kids, and I feel like I'm going to be doing good, just not to be a burden to my kids. I feel like I feel like I don't want my kids to feel like they have to sacrifice to help me out. And so I'm doing everything I can, and I wouldn't take it, to be honest. I'm the type person that I would rather suffer than take things from my kids. So that's kind of the way that's going to go. Um, I'm also the type person that I'm not going to die in a nursing home. I'm not going to go into a nursing home and spend $6,000-7,000 a month and drain all of my wealth on a retirement home. I will be in my house, and when it's my time, it's my time. Um, I will die at home. I'm not going to go into a nursing home. I just refuse to. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about that. So, um, I don't know. I'm in a funk. I'm in a funk right now. The door, my secondary job, my door dashing has been really slow here the last few days. It's like Monday it was good. And I think it was because it was storming outside and people probably didn't want to get out. This coming week it's going to be really hot here. So I'm thinking maybe the door dashing will be okay next week because people aren't going to want to get out in the 98, 100-degree temperatures. We'll just see how that plays out. Tell me what you guys think. Something's got to change with the way life is going here in the United States. You know, things aren't perfect in other countries either, but I think other countries do a bit better of a job of taking care of their people. Here, it's like everything is on us, and it's just we pay all this money in taxes, and we're paying. I pay for health insurance, and it's like, why am I paying all this money for health insurance, and then I go to get a scan that I need, and it's another $800. It's like this is getting ridiculous. It's like we're not all making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, people, you know. And they pretend like we are. They act like we are. They act like we should just be able to whip that out with no problem. And I'm just, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. Um, I'm thinking about ways I can improve my income situation. It's like I didn't even need to go to college. I feel like college was almost a complete total waste of time and money. I feel like I would have been better off going to a trade school and learning how to do something that way. Um, I feel like I'm just wasting completely, wasted all those years going to college because college didn't give me the life that I thought it would give me. Basically, a bachelor's degree is equivalent to what a high school diploma used to be, and even people with master's degrees are not doing that. That great these days. Um, Not all of them anyway. So it's just I don't know. I've been thinking a little bit about downsizing. I have this house where it's just me living here, and I've got a lot of extra space, to be honest. I do. I thought that maybe I could sell this house, um, use the equity the money that I would walk away with, because I figure if I sell the house, I would probably walk away with maybe about 70,000 after closing costs and all of that. I would probably walk with about $70,000 in equity. And then I could buy a piece of land and put like a mobile home on it and live out of it. I mean, because it's just me, it's just me. I don't have a family. I don't have, here living with me. It's just me here. I could buy a piece of land and a mobile home and put it and not have a house payment. Have it all completely free and clear, or pretty close to it. And I've been really thinking about that, because then that eliminates at least another $1,250 a month in payments for me, or pretty close to it. And then when I get the credit cards paid off too, it's like then I'm going to have an extra probably $2,000 a month that I can start really throwing at my other financial goals. And it's starting to make a lot of sense in my mind. It's like, why don't I do this? Because, it's like, the reason, and here's the sad part. This is the sad part. Why am I not doing it? There's two primary reasons why I'm not jumping on that opportunity. One, I'm moving sounds like it's just a complete total pain trying to move. And so that's part of it. Part of it is just the move. And I've moved a few times. I just don't want to move. That's part of it. The other part of it is that my mother, and I know it should have nothing to do with my mother, but my mother would hate it. And I know she would. She, it's like, it, it's not that she looks down on people, but to see her son living in a mobile home, I think it would make her feel bad. It would make my mom feel bad that I'm living in a mobile home. But for me, as a guy, because my mom believes in having the nice house, the nice pretty house, yada yada yada. As a man, I'm sitting here thinking I'll have 2,000 extra in cash flow coming in a month, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Um, Men and women think a little differently, so that's what I'm thinking as a guy. But I know my mother she would feel bad that I was living in a mobile home, whereas it wouldn't bother me at all, because all I ever do here is sleep anyway. It's like, really, it's like, I don't want. The thing is with me, I don't want to live in a mobile home, like in a mobile home park. If I'm going to live in a mobile home, I want my own piece of land out away from other people. that's what I'm thinking about. I don't know. I'm seriously considering that. I have to say, I am seriously considering doing it. Moving would be a bitch, and I already know that. um, Honestly, I might. It might be worth it for me to hire a company to move me because I just don't know if I have it in me. My energy levels are so low, and I wouldn't be able to take everything. I have a safe in my downstairs, and it's a it's a gun safe, but the thing weighs like 800 pounds. I don't think I'm putting that into a mobile home. I don't know if the flooring would be able to support it in a mobile home. So I'd probably just leave it here and sell it with the house, to be honest. I'd take my firearms with me, but I'd leave the safe. Um if they people wanted it removed, I could maybe I could sell it. I don't know. Um I don't know. I'll just have to think about all that. But anyway, this is something I'm seriously contemplating just because I'm thinking about the cost. My mortgage plus the homeowners association is about 1200, about 1225 a month where I'm living right now. And I think if I sold the house, I'd clear about 70,000. I could take that 70,000, buy a piece of land, and buy a single wide mobile home, which would be plenty of room for me because it's just me, and not have a mortgage payment at all. And then I could really start just aggressively stacking. And I could potentially retire at that pace because that's a lot that's a much faster pace than I have in my retirement plans. Retiring in 10 years, shoot, we could almost shorten that a couple years. I could probably retire maybe by 57 if I did that, maybe depending on how the markets behave. I'm getting tired of working, you guys. The only reason I'm thinking, if I was really enjoying working, really enjoying going to work, I wouldn't worry about it so much. But I'm getting to a point where I feel like I want to retire. I want to retire. I want to go live in Europe for a while, travel around Europe for a little bit. I want to go and hike the Camino de Santiago, and not just one route. I think I want to. I've talked about the Camino before, which the Camino Frances is the primary. That's the most famous route, but they have other hikes. They have the Camino del Norte, which is a little further north along the northern coast of Spain, and they also have the Camino Portugues, which comes up through Portugal, and then they also have the Via de la Plata, which begins down in Seville and goes up. And I'm thinking I'd like to do all of them. We'll see. There's things that I want to do in retirement, and I don't want to be 70 trying to go and do these 500-mile hikes. I just don't. Going at 60, I could do that. I think that's only 11 years from now. Um, and the thing is, I could take my time. When I'd be retired living over there. I could take my time. I could just walk 5 miles a day, 8 miles a day. I don't have to try to kill it and do 15 miles a day. Anyway, these are my thoughts today. This is what's going through my head. I'm just thinking out loud. Um, I'm just tired. I think more than anything, I'm just tired. I'm tired of working so hard. Um, I've been working 70-hour weeks with my part-time job, and I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of doing it. Um, I want to kind of ease off the throttle a little bit, and right at the time where I'm wanting to ease off the throttle is when everything seems to be falling apart around us, and Anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Leave some comments. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you on the next one.